The story of Easter, a journey of love, hope, and new beginnings. A long, long time ago, in a peaceful land filled with olive trees, hills of golden grass, and small villages, there lived a man named Jesus. He was not a king with a crown or a soldier with armor. He didn't live in a palace, ride a horse, or carry a sword. But Jesus was known everywhere he went. Why? Because he loved people, all people, with his whole heart. He was gentle and kind. He helped people who were sick. He gave food to those who were hungry. He listened to the lonely, hugged the children, and told stories, wonderful stories called parables, that helped people understand how to be kind, honest, and loving. Some of his stories were about lost sheep, some about seeds growing into trees, and some about people who forgave others even when they were hurt. Each story had a lesson, and the most important message of all was this: love one another, always. Jesus had 12 close friends called disciples. They traveled with him from village to village, helping him and learning from him. Crowds of people followed them, hoping to hear Jesus speak or see him perform miracles. But not everyone was happy with Jesus. Some leaders, people who had power in the cities, didn't understand him. They didn't like how much people loved him. They were afraid he would change everything. So, they began to make a plan to stop him. But Jesus knew all of this, and he wasn't afraid. He had a very important job to do, and he was ready for it. The Day of Palms. One day, Jesus and his friends were walking toward a city called Jerusalem. It was a special time of year, a Jewish holiday called Passover, when people remembered how God had helped their ancestors escape from slavery long ago. Families gathered, shared meals, and gave thanks. Jesus told 2 of his disciples to go into the nearby village and find a young donkey. "You'll see one tied up. Bring it to me," he said. His friends were puzzled. A donkey, not a horse. But they obeyed. Jesus climbed onto the little donkey and began riding slowly into the city. As he came closer, people began to cheer. They waved palm branches in the air, placed their coats on the ground to make a soft path for him, and shouted with joy, "Hosanna! Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." They were celebrating Jesus like a king. But he wasn't a king who wanted riches or power. He was a king of hearts, a bringer of peace. This happy day is called Palm Sunday, and it marks the beginning of what we now call Holy Week, a week that changed the world. The Last Supper. Later that week, Jesus gathered his disciples for a special meal. They sat in an upstairs room, around a low table. Candles flickered on the walls, and the smell of bread and roasted lamb filled the air. Jesus looked around at his friends with love. As they ate, Jesus did something very special. He took a piece of bread, broke it, and gave it to each of them. "Take this," he said, "and eat. This is my body, given for you." Then he took a cup of wine and said, "Drink from this. This is my blood, poured out for the forgiveness of sins." The disciples didn't fully understand. Was he saying goodbye? Jesus also told them, "Love each other, just as I have loved you. By this, everyone will know you are my friends." That meal became known as the Last Supper, and we remember it today during church services and communion. After the meal, Jesus and his friends walked to a quiet garden. It was night, and the stars twinkled overhead. Jesus prayed, asking for strength. He knew something very hard was about to happen. A very sad day. In the darkness, guards came with torches. One of Jesus' own friends had helped them find him. Jesus was arrested and taken away. His disciples were scared and didn't know what to do. Some ran and hid. The next day, Jesus was brought before leaders who judged him unfairly. Even though he had never hurt anyone, they decided he must be punished. He was placed on a cross, a heavy wooden structure, and taken to a hill called Calvary. There, Jesus was hurt badly. People gathered to watch. Some were kind, some were not. His mother Mary was there, and so were some of his friends. They cried, but they stayed close. Jesus looked at the people and said, "Father, forgive them. They don't understand." Then, after a long time, Jesus took his last breath. The sky turned dark. The wind blew hard. It was a sad, quiet moment. Jesus' body was taken down from the cross and gently placed in a tomb, a sort of cave in the rock. A large round stone was rolled in front of it to seal the entrance. Guards stood outside. This day is called Good Friday. Even though it was very sad, we call it good because Jesus showed the greatest love. He gave everything for others. A morning like no other. 2 days passed. The world felt heavy and still. Then came the morning of the third day, a Sunday. Just before sunrise, some women who had loved Jesus, Mary Magdalene and others, went to visit the tomb. They brought spices and cloths to honor his body. But when they arrived, the stone was gone. They looked inside the tomb, and Jesus was not there. Suddenly, an angel appeared and said, "Don't be afraid. He is not here. He has risen, just as he said." Mary ran to tell the disciples. They came running too, amazed. Could it be true? And then? Jesus appeared, first to Mary, then to his friends. He smiled, walked, talked, and showed them he was alive. At first, they could hardly believe their eyes, but it was real. Jesus had risen from the dead. He wasn't a ghost or a spirit. He was truly alive again. This was a miracle, the greatest one of all. Jesus stayed with his friends for a while longer, teaching them and reminding them to go out and share the good news, that love is stronger than hate, that life is stronger than death, and that we are never alone. Why we celebrate Easter. This is why we celebrate Easter, to remember the moment the world changed. Easter is not just about chocolate eggs or colorful baskets. It's about a love so big that it can never be lost. It's about hope that shines even in the darkest places. It's about new life, new beginnings, and the joy of being loved, no matter what. We remember Jesus' story because it reminds us how to live, to love others, even when it's hard, to forgive, even when we're hurt, to believe that after sadness, joy can come, and to know that no matter what, we are never alone. Easter symbols and their meanings. You may be wondering, why do we see bunnies and eggs at Easter time? Well, those are symbols, little pictures that help tell the story of new life. Easter eggs. Long ago, people would decorate eggs to celebrate spring. The egg reminds us of new life, just like a chick hatching out of its shell. It's a sign of Jesus coming out of the tomb, alive again. Bunnies. Rabbits are known for having lots of babies, so they became a sign of new beginnings. They remind us of how life is always growing and changing. Lilies and flowers. White lilies bloom in the spring, and they remind us of purity and hope. All flowers remind us that after winter, beauty comes back, just like Jesus came back to life. The empty tomb. Sometimes at church you might see a picture or display of the empty tomb with the stone rolled away. It shows that the story didn't end in sadness. It ended and began again. Enjoy. A message just for you. Whether you go to church or not, whether you celebrate Easter with big family dinners or quiet mornings at home, the heart of Easter is something for everyone. It's the idea that love never gives up. It's the idea that we can start again, even when things go wrong. It's the promise that after the dark days, light always comes back. So when you see a bright Easter egg, or a bunny hopping in a field, or a flower blooming from the cold ground, remember the Easter story. The story of Jesus, of kindness, of courage, and of hope that never fades. Remember, Easter is about love that never ends, hope that never gives up, and new life waiting just around the corner.